Welcome back to Yanadameen Godcast. I'm Lord Jamar.
I'm Digga.
We got Fact Checker Rage in the back. We got my physical brother right here, Reality.
Peace, what's good?
And we got brother Sanchez, special guest in the house. And we here talking about Flat Earth. Before we continue, if you'd like to donate to the show, go to cash.me/$, patreon.com/, or yanadameen.com/support. We appreciate you striving to stay independent and bring you beautiful shows like today. Now, in between, we started getting into
we actually started having a really good.
We started having a good conversation about gravity, right? So I don't even want to, we said let's stop and let's wait for the cameras to come on. Now I'm gonna let brother Sanchez take the floor because Digga doesn't. Digga doesn't take it well when it comes from me.
No.
So that's why we have Sanchez here.
Our
Digga
cameraman asked the question. We are saying
yes.
Why is the density argument debunking the gravity argument? Like, just because something is more or less dense, like, to me, that doesn't disprove gravity. You brought up you use an example of a butterfly flying. Like, a butterfly flying is the same thing as an airplane flying. Now, when you're dealing with wind force and acceleration, like, those are things that can work against a less dense air and push through. I don't think that saying something, is more or less dense, I don't think that necessarily proves there's no such thing as gravity.
Would you like to take this, brother Sanchez, or should I?
Yeah, sure. The thing is this. Gravity is an explanation. Density is an explanation. At the end of the day, these are two explanations that are meant to explain why things float and why things fall. But when you compare these two explanations, one ends up in a theoretical category and one ends up as a feasible natural explanation to 100% explain this phenomena of why things fall and why things float. Gravity failed to do that, whereas density explains it just fine why a butterfly should be able to fly, and gravity won't pull it down, but it's strong enough to pull all of that ocean water down. The theory of gravity itself don't have an explanation to it to take that argument away about the butterfly. When I explain that it's possible for the butterfly to do that with the laws of density, it does debunk gravity, because that's where gravity falls short and density wins. So that's when I say, okay, I'm gonna accept the explanation of density instead of this theory of gravity, because the way it's explained with density is a fact. Now, gravity, you see what I'm saying? Because gravity would mean that you have a mysterious force that knows, okay, let me pull this damn ocean water because this is pretty strong, but I'm gonna let that butterfly go. And if you build a strong enough motor, I'll let you go. Because think about it. Even airplanes shouldn't be possible if you talk about the strength of what's keeping all of the trillions and trillions of gallons of ocean stuck to a ball. Even your best jet wouldn't be able to escape that force unless that force was saying, okay, I'll let him go. I'll just let him go. So gravity is selective. And that's what go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
But with that same argument, a plane shouldn't be able to fly if we're saying, all things denser must fall.
No, because now you get into propulsion and stuff, what you was talking about.
Yeah. Density don't make the claims gravity make. Gravity says all things come up, what must come down. We all learned that, but that ain't true with a helium balloon. You see, that ain't true with a bubble. That ain't true with so gravity got a lot of cracks in it and density doesn't, because density doesn't make those claims. Density says that if you're lighter than the medium you exist within, you would float. And if you're heavier than that medium, you would sink. So ice in a cup gonna always float to the top because the ice is hollow. It ain't heavier than the water. But put a rock in there though, it's gonna sink. That's density. According to gravity, the ice should be put to the bottom too, because nothing can escape the laws of gravity, right? So
But I think the laws of gravity and the laws of density are mutually exclusive. Like I think they're
They're not
work
the
together.
same.
Well, he's showing you that
If you're
density is
listening to it.
the better explanation.
No,
Gravity has the holes in it.
Gravity falls short.
I know it is, but it's like there's still also equations within gravity. Like the theory of gravity isn't just every single thing is just gonna be like just like of course it's going to work with density as well. Like some things are going to rise above others, but gravity itself is just saying like is what's keeping us from like all like the heavier things or the more dense things from not floating away.
We're saying that that's not true.
That's what
Okay,
gravity is
so
saying.
now let's address that for a second, because the fact that you even believe we can float away is because they on the ball model. They believe that we are not in an enclosure and we are exposed to a endless vacuum of space. Now,
So that's why they hate
But wouldn't
saying
that apply if we're a ball or we're flat? Like if we are
no, if
more
we're flat,
dense,
we're saying
we
we're
wouldn't float
inside
away
of an
with it.
enclosure. No. First of all, we're saying we're inside of an enclosure, number one. Number two, if you were on a ball exposed to the vacuum of space, that's just like I have a video where I could show you where a physics teacher at MIT is showing that when you have a gas inside of a box, when you release the barrier, and you have a vacuum next to it of equal size or more, what's going to happen? All the fucking air pressure is going to go to the vacuum. So how can we have a pressurized atmosphere yet
outside of a vacuum, supposedly?
Yeah, with a vacuum exposed to us.
Without a barrier.
And gravity stopping us from floating off. So you're saying
barrier.
that there's no barrier.
That would only work if there was a barrier. But
that's the only way.
What do we call the ozone layer? Like what do we
call
that?
A layer. It's atmosphere. It's not a barrier.
Atmosphere.
And what do we call when I guess astronauts are fake re-entering the Earth's atmosphere? We burning up. This wouldn't be said barrier.
Take it away, Sanchez.
Thermosphere, and they tell you that these things come in from the thermosphere, such hot temperatures, but yet we never see no steam in the water, y'all. They're not going to what they call in the different layers of the earth was what the ancient Hebrews called a different heavens. They had 7 heavens. They turned it into 7 layers. Now, if you get into sacred geometry, I teach a lot of that on my channel. I go into the ancient 7 heavens and I compare them to the modern plagiarization. What we're under today is a plagiarization of ancient cosmology, and we call it heliocentrism or global cosmology. These different layers, for example, the Van Allen belt that they said they can't pass because they no longer have the technology to do that. The truth is that man has never been able to escape the earth, and what they call in the Van Allen belt is what the ancients called a firmament dome. And I'll show you that now. I'm gonna go ahead and screen share again. What we can do is we can pull up, I'll do this real quick so you can point the people out there in the audience where they can look at for this. Here go the ancient Christian 7 heaven. You can see the different heavens, what we call the wandering stars, or what you call planets. Mercury, Venus, Mars, these are the wandering stars. Earth is not a planet. It's a plane enclosed in a net. And that's how you get this image. Gale represent the plane, Nut would be the net or the firmament dome. But when you talk about the layers of the sky, you can see them here in the Hebrew cosmology. You can see them here in the Islamic cosmology. And you can even see them in the global cosmology. Here's a Polynesian cosmology here where you can see the different layers, but they're different heavens. Each one of those skies are different atmospheres for other planes of existence, just like you can see here. Each of these different layers of these skies connect to a different plane below. So this is what the nature of the earth is that we live in. This was taught by a ripple effect. The ancients used the ripple effect to teach this. Now, when you look at the earth layers, you see where they have copied this and turned it to their own way. Now, if there were different layers of the earth in the atmosphere or the crust, in particular, the atmosphere is the ones I would try to pull up here. We would definitely have real pictures of them. Now, all they doing is plagiarizing. If you look at this image here of the different layers that they give you here and compare it to the ancient Hebrew 7 heavens that I just showed you, you can see the plagiarization. Now, they make us laugh at the ancients because they said the ancients was dumbest for believing the earth was flat. They didn't believe it was flat. We all know it to be flat. Our senses showed that it's flat. So this is plagiarization is what I'm showing you. All right. This is cartoons. None of this stuff is real. It's belief system, just like the religions, because this is the ancient Hellenistic faith. So listen, the ancient Hellenes put Zeus or their ruler in the middle of their cosmos. And we went from lunar calendars to solar calendars when they started invading the ancient world. But when they did that, they started saying that the sun, the S-U-N was the S-O-N. The leader was personified as the burning, as the literal light in the sky, the sun. So Jesus being the center of that ancient cosmology just turned into the literal sun in the middle of the solar system. That would be Jesus with the halo. I'm just showing you how it's the same Hellenistic religion in the form of the globe. See, this the thing. See, when you go to the Christian faith circles today, I'm gonna point this out and I'm gonna share the mic because I know you probably got questions, but all around the world you see these things paired together. You see the Bible with the globe. This is the gun and the bullet. You see, but even the ancient Christians again believed in the flat earth when they were Hebrew. The Hebrews had flat earth. That's what this is. So when they wrote that scripture saying that every eye gonna see him, that wouldn't have been possible on a globe because every eye can't see him on a globe. The other side wouldn't be able to see him. That meant they had flat earth cosmology. We know everybody had flat earth cosmology. What was the purpose of creating the globe? Because it was religious indoctrination. That's why it's all theoretical, and theos mean God. The solar system is a soul luring system. If you think you're atheist or you don't believe in the Bible or the different religions, hey, I just believe in science, you still believe in something, and that's a religion. So until we stop believing scientists and become scientists, we'll keep being believers and not knowers, because believing a scientist don't mean that you're a scientist. It just means you're a believer.
I tell science is the new religion and the scientists are the new priests. Like back in the days, people would go to the priests for the answers to the world around them. Now they would trust it, whatever they were told. Now they go to the scientist and act like, whoa, he knows better than me. He's got a closer connection to God than me.
Religious leaders were also put in play to control people.
And so are the scientists.
Yeah.
So
they make statements today. They say, like, if you don't believe in science, it's dangerous. They like, that's a dangerous thing to think.
Yeah.
That's crazy to say. Yeah. That's like in religion.
And that's what Christians say that too. If you don't believe in Jesus, you're
dangerous.
demonic.
Exactly. It's the same thing they're doing. They're pushing the same exact thing.
Yep. It's different versions of the same indoctrinating programming. We was talking earlier about gravity. If you can see my screen now, I'm from Alabama, and I remember going to the Space Center as a child and getting on this thing called a gravitron. Y'all remember that? Yeah.
We used to call it the roundup.
Oh, okay. See, and this here dope, man. I ain't want to get off this because you can stand up on a wall and stuff like that. But the thing that's deceiving about this is, now this was meant by space programs all over the nation to explain how we stay on the earth. As the earth spins, we stick to it. It wasn't until I became a flat earther until I realized that was kind of stupid, right? You wouldn't stick to it if you were spinning, right? So the thing is this, once you start questioning this stuff a little bit, it falls apart because it was created with the intentions that you would never question it. You said that earlier, right? So if we were on top of a spinning globe, right, and they're using the gravitron to show us how being on this globe would keep us sticking to it by spinning. Now they said we being pulled to the earth core. That's one thing. So that'll keep us from flying off as it spins. But they got two things working against each other. It's hypocritical, so to speak. Because when they try to explain how this would work on a gravitron, they put us in an enclosed system, just like flat earth. Now you will have to be on the surface of this thing and it'll fling you right off of it. But they won't do that. See, this is fake. This is not a real demonstration on how gravity would work, because everybody would be on top of this thing, not in it. We don't live in the globe, right? So this right here is deception. It's because
Well, at the same time, there would need to be some sort of gravitational pull from inside of this object in order for us to see it work in that capacity.
It would never work with anyone on the outside of it.
Regardless. On top, how is that going to work?
No, that's what I said. In order for us to be, if we were outside of that, in order to stick to it, there would have to be some sort of gravitational pull from inside. That's what we're being.
But the spin.
That's what we're being taught how the globe works. There's a gravitational pull from the Earth's core, right? That's keeping us stuck to the globe. So in order for this experiment to work, there would need to be some sort of gravitational pull inside of it, and then people stick to it from the outside. I mean, it wouldn't make sense.
Do you think that's possible?
It wouldn't make sense.
Do you think what you're talking about is possible?
It wouldn't make sense if this is on top. If this is just a device outside, right on Nostra Nav. Of course, and gravity is working.
But one thing I want to say, what you have to realize,
of course you would swing off of it.
You have to realize
the pull would need to be inside of that.
Their machine that they're saying is
right
for gravity. That's what you. I don't think you're missing that point. It's not what we're saying. That's what they're saying. It's called the gravitron. They're saying that duplicates the gravity. So that's all we're saying here, and we see that's not right. It can't be right. You see what's happening in there, but this is what they're saying. Mm-hmm. That's what they're saying.
I'm sorry, I cut you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Continue.
No, it was making a good point, because when you talk about how this would work, if gravity is pulling everything to the core of the Earth, then an airplane would have its thrusters on the bottom of it. Think about what I'm saying. An airplane would constantly have to fight against the gravitational pull of the Earth, which they say that's what's happening. But if the Earth is pulling the plane down, the plane would need an upward force to counteract that, and a forward force, but planes only use a forward thruster in the back. They don't have one on the bottom to counteract what's pulling them down.
But they angle up to take off as long as they're on the tarmac.
But they're saying once they're in the sky, they should be pulled down. They should have something to counteract the pull of gravity.
If you only have a forward thrust and no upward thrust, how do you get up if gravity is supposed to be pulling you down? It should only be going straight. Planes should be like a train, only going. They shouldn't leave the ground then, unless it's propulsed going upward.
Mm-hmm. Here's what I ask.
But how? But the propulsion's in the back. You have to understand.
No one ever wants to answer the question: if we're spinning, how come I can't go up in a helicopter for an hour, come down, and be somewhere else? What's the answer for that?
Until I physically do that experiment myself, I can't answer that.
Please do it though, because it would not happen. You're going to come down in the same place because it's not spinning. It's not spinning.
You should be a hot air balloon, go above your house, and just wait and let the Earth keep spinning. And hey, man, when California get down there, we'll go back down. Then when we're ready to leave Cali, we just launch our hot air balloon back up, let the Earth keep spinning till our city get beneath us, and get back down. That'll be an easy form of traveling.
Has this ever been done? Has anybody has anyone on either side tried to prove or disprove this theory? I mean,
yes, there's something. Tell them about the Michelson-Morley experiment.
Right. I'm
Tell her about the Michelson-Morley experiment.
But the whole thing about that, what you can prove it with is the Bedford level experiment. Because check this out, what we're looking at here is, and I know what you're talking about with the spin of the Earth. There is no spin. So you can't prove it because there is no spin. So the fact that it haven't been proven, but the Earth is said to have been spinning for eons is what debunks it. You know what I'm saying?
And what I'm asking is there anywhere in time that somebody can say on such and such date?
Yes, the Michelson-Morley experiment. They tried to make experiment to see if the Earth was spinning.
How about this?
And it was proved that it wasn't.
Well, how about this? All right, how about this?
That's how the whole theory of relativity even came about.
Jay, look.
From that.
If they saying that the Earth spins at 1,037 miles per hour, right?
Mm-hmm.
A plane only flies about 500 something miles per hour. How would you get to your destination? Like, how would you catch it? Like, wouldn't you always be chasing? If you were going a certain direction, you'd be chasing your destination because the Earth would be spinning faster than your plane can travel.
Don't they explain that with headwinds and tailwinds?
No. If you could explain it to me.
I mean, just being a frequent flyer. When I'm flying to California, it takes 6 hours. When I'm flying back, that's traveling west.
But it would be half the time. Think about that, because the Earth is supposed to be spinning 500 miles faster than your plane's traveling.
No, but
depending on which way the Earth's spinning in relation to where you're traveling, one of those trips should be double the speed. Because one is going with the same speed of the Earth.
The other one's going against it.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It's always shorter. And by
it's not double.
It's not double.
About almost 2 hours traveling back.
No way.
East.
That's the
way.
Well, double would be
like traveling 8 hours and coming back.
No, it's like 6 hours.
2.5.
4 hours and change.
That's not.
It's like
if the Earth's spinning 1,000 miles
toward you, and that city is racing toward you at 1,000 miles per hour, and you racing toward it at 540 something miles per hour, it should be less than double the time for you to get to it when you're traveling face to face like that. So that's not the case either. And I've done a lot of traveling being in the Air Force. I can tell you, when you're going north to south, if you were on a globe, you would have to be slanting now, because if the globe is turning the way we see here, traveling up and down would be even crazier. You'll have to slant now. We don't experience none of this in the airplane. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. The people going down here in the airplane are upside down flying. They're literally upside down. And you saying what's keeping their water in their cup on the plane is gravity.
And that they don't know that they're upside down. And the blood is rushing to their head, but they don't know it because they're writing, because it's so big that by the time they get down there, they've righted themselves somehow.
Real quick, Digga, look, see how
it's ridiculous.
It shows it spinning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what about from the plane, right? Wouldn't that be like landing on a moving target? If you was in a plane, think about that. If the Earth is supposed to be spinning like that and you're in a plane, wouldn't it be like landing on a moving target? I don't think like plane flight would be possible if that was the case. If it was really spinning and you're flying, they'd be like, "Oh, there it is. Oh, there's the." Like,
we're literally looking at it spinning like down, mess up sound. But we're literally looking at it like moving. Like
but that's how
it moves way faster than that.
1,000
miles. That's a slow representation.
But I think a structure that is supposed to be the size of this planet, it wouldn't appear moving that fast to us.
Let me say this. With what you just said, that mean if here's the thing. You're saying that the bigger something is, the less you can detect this speed, but that's not true. 1,000 miles per hour is gonna be 1,000 miles per hour, no matter how big it is. So another way you can look at it is this, right? You're saying that basically if a skinny man and a fat man was running at the same speed, the fat man wouldn't detect his speed like the skinny man. You know, fat man.
What I'm saying is going 400 miles in a car, going 400 miles an hour in a car is going to feel different than going 400 miles an hour in a plane. That's all. That's what I'm saying.
You know what?
It's the same.
It's gonna feel the same.
It's the same speed, but these different structures, that velocity, if you will, is going to feel different in these two different situations. A car versus the size.
Well, that's because you're on the ground and in the air. That's the only thing that'll make it different. Is the density and the
okay, a skinny person, fat person running a car, a plane. They feel different.
We would still know this thing was spinning.
If I was inside of a little Ford Focus spinning around 1,000 miles per hour, as opposed to being in a airplane spinning around 1,000 miles per hour, it will be perceived as different, but your perception don't change that 1,000 miles per hour. And things behave a certain way at that speed. And my perception won't change the way nature make things behave at that speed. We talking about perception versus reality. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you will perceive it different based upon these structures, but the facts won't change based upon my little perception. So the crazy thing is 1,000 miles per hour will still be 1,000 miles per hour. Here's the thing, because, and I hope I'm not,
Sanchez, we got to go
real quick.
I thought maybe we was reaching a point.
Yeah, we definitely reaching a point, but we're gonna do one more because this is a fucking special episode. So let's take a break and we'll be back. One more. Let's go. Well, listen, guys, okay? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
BlueChew.com. Why are you laughing?
No, that's what I said. Let me get serious.
BlueChew.com, girl.
Okay.
It's blue as in the color blue, okay?
Jay-Z
Now,
blue.
BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis.
Okay.
So you know they work.
Okay.
They don't give you them headaches like them corner store bullshit that you find in the hood.
Boost pills.
Yeah, all that samurai and all that bullshit, that type of shit.
I wouldn't know about
No good.
Not familiar.
Isn't there some shit called like Lion Tiger or something?
Tiger Bone.
Tiger Bone.
Tiger Bone?
She said
Okay.
lion tiger.
Lion
Tiger Bone.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is knocking Tiger Bone out the box.
Okay.
Anyway, so first of all, you could take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work twice as fast as a pill. So you could be ready and rise to the occasion. If you get my drift.
Wow.
Brooklyn's historic The Black Lady Theater is now taking bookings. Host your next birthday party, concert, networking event, baby or bridal shower, wedding, art show, gala, corporate event, live stage play, audition, and so much more. At the one and only The Black Lady Theater. Mention code GODCAST for 15% off your rental fee. Code good for the first time customers only. Valid for a limited time. Call 718-771-0900 to book your event today.